Pathmonk is the AI for website conversions. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in the buying journey separates you from the competition online. Pathmonk qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50% by adding Pathmonk to your website in seconds, letting the AI do all the work and increase conversions while you keep doing marketing as usual. Check us out on pathmonk.com. Hey, everybody, welcome back to today's episode of Pathmonk Presents. Today, we are joined by Scott Desgrosseilliers. He's the CEO of Wicked Reports. Scott, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Been listening to a few Pathmonk episodes, so I'm happy to now be a guest. It's an honor.
Very good. Well, I'm excited to have you. We're excited to have this conversation, and we just want to start with the basics, Scott. So, please give our audience an idea about what's the big concept behind your company, and if you were to explain it to a friend over coffee, how would you describe what you do?
Sure. Wicked Reports is a marketing attribution company. And that phrase doesn't always mean a lot to marketers or people in general. But basically, when you do marketing online, at least half of your marketing spend is wasted, and you don't really know which half is. And so what we do is create an easy to understand scoreboard for your marketing so that you can know where to move your marketing budget to places that are working and places that aren't. Because a lot of times you can buy clicks cheaply, but it's because the people don't convert on your website, either now or in the future. And we especially appeal to full funnel marketers who are going to market at the top of funnel differently than they are at the bottom, meaning when they're going to raise awareness and prospect to get people interested in their brand. That's a very different type of marketing, and it takes longer for those people to convert, usually 2 weeks up to 2 months. And so the ad platforms that you spend money on aren't built to keep scores and tell you when your top of the funnel marketing is working. But it's the most important thing to do because if you don't keep getting new eyeballs in, you're not going to grow. But it's also the hardest thing to do, so the score doesn't always look good when you first start. And so that's what we aim to do.
All right, that's whenever you mention attribution to marketers, and our audience is full of them, they're just gonna listen, right? Okay, so you're telling me you have an answer here. You can help us with attribution. So I'm curious, are there any kind of industries or businesses that you feel your product really shines at the moment? And when it comes to attribution, is there a specific problem in there that you help them solve? Uh, if you want to go into the
Sure.
details, that's absolutely fine by us. But yeah, just want to understand a little bit more about who you work with, type of businesses, and
Yeah.
how you help them.
Our specialty is people selling is D2C. So you're selling to customers, not to businesses, because there's a different journey and there's special ways to measure that are different.
Hmm.
And our sweet spot is e-commerce, 3 million to 60 million in revenue. We do have billion-dollar companies, and we certainly have companies under 1 million that are rising. But that's our actual sweet spot is right there because they have enough volume and they have enough ad budget where we can make a real impact to them quickly. So we certainly help other cases as well, though. Now, the one of the big challenges is that all the platforms are very biased and optimistic, the ad platforms and how they're doing. So if you go into Google and then you're also advertising on Meta and then let's say Microsoft Search, and then you
Hmm.
go into your email and your SMS and your Shopify and you add up all those conversions, they're not going to match up. They're going to be inflated in some areas, and they're not going to tell the true value of other things that are actually more valuable than they look. And the reason for that is that, there's a customer journey, which I mean, you mentioned in your intro for Pathmonk, there's this journey and it doesn't generally don't people don't see an ad and immediately click and buy. I mean, once in a while they do, but if they do, it's because usually they've already bought from you before. And generally we see 7 to sometimes 100 touch points it can take. But and so I originally, when we created this, we've been doing this for almost 11 years now. So we, have seen a lot in this time. And the original idea was we're going to just take the real sales, which we call first party data, and divide it by the touch points and tell you, how much each point was worth. The trouble is that doesn't really help because not every touch point is really as important as the other ones. And if you take that approach and there's a lot of touch points, nothing's going to look profitable. But at the same time, your marketing is driving you forward. So the challenge that we solve is taking all that data, not just being mathematically accurate, but actually giving you a measurement strategy and framework so you can make a decision on all this data coming in. Because otherwise, why are you going to pay for another data source that just conflicts with all the other ones? So I developed a framework called the five forces, and there's a scale, chill, kill element to it, which is in any campaign, we're either going to tell you that you should be scaling and spending more, chilling, which is kind of nice. We talking about how
Mm.
busy we are before the podcast. It means, hey, you don't have to do anything here. You can keep spending the same amount and you're fine. And then kill, which might not mean kill, but it could mean you have to just diagnose and improve the campaign, or you do have to kill it if you're not going to do that because you're losing money.
Or if anything, dial it back, right? So there's a let's say an answer for every kind of problem there, it sounds like, but it's a pretty interesting one of that framework, right? Scale, chill, or kill, right?
Mhm.
Okay, interesting. Um, Now you brought up, different channels. Let's say, someone might use Meta, someone uses Google Ads. When it comes to wiki reports, how do most people discover you? Are there any channels that have become your go-to for bringing in new customers at the moment? What is it like for you guys to be able to find new business?
Sure. Yeah, so our top of the funnel is two things. It's podcasts, this is one of them, and YouTube. And then our
Okay.
middle funnel is case studies, mini product videos or directing their product pages. And then our bottom of the funnel is usually a live demo with a sales rep, or they just buy on the recommendation of their agency.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. And in all of this, right? So it sounds like top of the funnel, as you said, it will be podcasts and YouTube videos. Then people will be sent in some way or another, and I'm just assuming, to your website, right?
Mhm.
So, how much of a role does your website play in pulling in your clients at the moment? Is it a big part of it, or do you feel like you're able to book, let's say, demos from other channels, or how does that work?
It's a medium high, I would say, by 7 out of 10. So we have our demos page has instant demos, almost like walkthroughs of
Yeah.
specific outcomes. So because when you're investing in a software, you're hiring it to get a job done. And so we've listed some of the things that we can do and then walk you through with a couple clicks how we solve that particular job that you want to have us do. So people can get a flavor for it. So they don't have to get on a sales pitch. It's more like a consultative approach where we show the jobs that we solve. Then you can book a live call with someone after you've seen that. So you don't need to have a gatekeeper from seeing the product. But then with attribution, people often, it's been around a lot. People have been burned with other solutions
Mm.
for one reason or another. So they usually like to talk to someone before they're going to buy, is what we found. Not always, but 90% of the time, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, that's a big number. Um, I'm curious, from your experience, Scott, what makes a website actually convert? And right now you can draw from your experience, obviously, from Wiki reports, from all of the clients that you work with, right? Maybe there are any, besides the framework you just shared, are there any tools or tactics that you're willing to share with us even that worked wonders for you when it comes to website conversion?
Spending a lot of time trying to get the email capture correct because a lot of people aren't going to come to your website and then buy right away unless it's a Shopify store and it's a lower price product. Even the higher price products, if they're Shopify, you still need multiple visits, check reviews. So capturing the first party data, if you can, their email address, so that you can then market to them. Taking time to dial that in tends to sometimes make big revenue gains for the brands that are good at doing that because then they're making more money off their website traffic. And that website
Mm.
ultimately can do a lot of things, but if you can have it as a lead engine Even if you're e-commerce, if you can just be capturing emails that you can then email and SMS, that I've seen that move the needle pretty heavily because email and SMS is no, it's not it's an okay channel for us as a B2B, but for D2C, it's a really powerful channel still. It doesn't get a lot of love, but it should because they a lot of conversions off those two channels, and that all starts with capturing their info.
Yeah. Well, look, as a consumer, I agree. It's effective because many times, let's say I don't know, I buy protein powder. I don't know. And then I get a reminder by email that says, hey, you're running low potentially, or I get a SMS and it works, right? I just go back
Yeah.
to them and I buy it. So, and that maybe there's a promo, whatever it is. But yeah, I agree. It's a very effective
And
channel.
so how we know that with Wicked Reports is because we tie that back to the ad that first made them aware of your brand. So if
Yeah.
you're buying the next protein powder off an SMS, that's the dream client they want. You're higher value than your original average order value. And so that if you buy a protein, let's say it costs the same, just for the sake of argument, as the first time, you just doubled your value. Well, that you might have first heard of that brand 4 months ago from some like, I don't know, weight loss video or someone jacked in the gym, whatever it was, all those
Mhm.
different creatives that the protein teams use. And then you clicked again, then you checked reviews, then you did this and this, then you bought, then you opted in, then you bought, now you're buying again. So we stitched that back and up the value of that top of the funnel because that's the type of lag it can take because it's competitive space. Like supplements, we get a lot of supplement brands, and that's a very competitive space, but it works as long, but particularly to your point, like if they have a dialed in repurchase, then you can spend more on those cold traffics, and that stitching that together is what makes a brand win when otherwise it might look like the ads aren't profitable.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay. So thanks for kind of breaking it down for us just to understand, how you
Sure.
tie it back to that first touch point, right? Now we can get super technical, Scott, but also we would love to talk about you as a leader, right? So tell us a little bit about a day in the life, let's say, what's a typical work day look like for you as a CEO, Weekly Reports, and what are the main things you focus on, if you will?
Well, the fun thing is there's no typical day. I have structured time that I block out to work on projects. Otherwise, my day is going to get engulfed with other people's needs, which may be very valid needs, but I need to get my work done as the leader as
Yeah.
well. Well, I mean, setting it's not something you do every day, but you gotta get crystal clear with the vision and communicate it often. And I wasn't good at doing that at first because once I could see where I wanted to go and set it one time, I thought everyone was on the bus and then not. That's part of what makes a visionary is
Mm,
that you can see where you want to go quickly and how you're going to get there. But then what makes you turn into a leader is you got to get everyone else going in that same direction. So when I
right.
finally distilled Wicked Reports down to, I said, we're going to do three things. We're going to measure, we're going to signal the ad platforms, and we're going to give people action. Measure, signal, act. And then people kind of could see how all these different ideas were going to come together into one platform. And then when we were, so that was like a big learning was trying to get things clear. A clear vision is you can have a vision, but getting it clear and getting everyone to also see it's clear, it takes more work than I would have thought, but it's worth it. Um, a day in the life. Well, I'll be on a podcast or two. Today I'm on three. I got
Mm,
a marketing call. I got a marketing. We run the EOS system, entrepreneurial operating system. So we have like a L10 is like the executive weekly check-in. We've got one for the marketing and sales team today. Talking to some developers about they got a question about around a feature that we got to cover. And then we have a war room, which is where we work on our quarterly goals and communicate. I have a war room, and then I'm voicing over some training or looking over the scripts on some training that we're doing. We're a team of 25, so we're
mm,
still reasonably small, but like a lot of the processes were either my brainchild or I helped create. So then getting the training tight is a challenge because you got to get it out of your head so everyone isn't coming to you. And
right.
then so then our customers have the value without having to talk to someone. They can just see a quick, trying to get a concrete thing down to a couple minutes takes like a week to get a script down to like 3 minutes, you know. If you start and you get like a 10-minute ramble, you got to get it tight. That takes a lot. So that's my day today. It's pretty packed actually now that I think
Yeah, it
about
sounds
it.
like it varies a lot. Sounds like, you have fun also, right? You have a smile on your
Yeah.
face, so it's not like, oh,
Yeah,
let's
no,
drag
it's
it, man.
fun actually. So
That's good. And that's a term that comes to mind for what we just talked about, which is simplexity, right? I can't remember where I heard it,
I've never heard
but
that. That's nice.
yeah, so it's,
I'm gonna use
being
that.
able to distill something complex into something simple, and simplexity is that's what it is, right? Not easy, not easy at all. But sounds like you have a system kind of, down for being able to do that, and also for how you think and being able to replicate within your company, for making other people see or understand how you think so that they can operate in a similar way and, maybe give it their flair, for example, right?
Well, yeah, the thing that I took us a long time to get right because of me, I think, was you got to have confirmation that your customers are getting the value out of the product that they think. I mean, of course, if they're paying you again, then technically they are, or if they're going logging in, but really it's are they getting the real job to be done? Is it getting done to their satisfaction? Because sometimes people will still, I mean, PathMonk probably gets a fair amount of analytics and things probably similar to Wicked Reports where they could be logging in but not really get what they're doing
Mm,
or not really
mm,
get the value. For it could be the product's reasons, it could be the people don't have a framework, they don't know what they're doing, it could be all sorts of things. So focusing on actual evidence that the customers are getting happy value and are happy goes beyond like an NPS score. It's I mean NPS is not bad, but that was a big eye opener for me also. Like how do we know for sure? Like they need to be like for market attribution, they have to be moving budget because of the data or they're a churn risk. 'Cause why would
mm.
they pay? I mean, some people still pay us and don't do that. It's puzzling though. But with PathMonk, right, they should change something about their website eventually based on using that tool and that, your company services. They should be like, okay, now I'm going to do this differently.
Mm.
And the more we focus on measuring and improving that and kind of guaranteeing that, the better we do.
Yeah, but that's a great point. Uh, Following that, right, you're talking about measuring and improving. I want to understand how you learn a little bit, if that's fine. There's a flood of content out there, so I'm curious. You've been doing this for more than a decade and more, right, in different industries and whatnot. So, how do you stay focused and keep learning? Is there specific kind of routine or some people that you turn to for inspiration or staying ahead, or how does that work for you?
So I try to almost it's 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 tricky because it's risky as a CEO that loves to learn. I can get too far ahead of the market or, just crush my team with all these change requests of things that maybe the market isn't ready for or only advanced users, super advanced. So I have to talking about learning within marketing attribution and just advertising and marketing in general.
Mhm.
I try to limit it actually because otherwise I get too many ideas that's going to throw us off the vision. Now I have a product manager who's now strong at not just saying yes, like, hey, does this fit where we said we're going? And now I'm better at not even bringing them. But I try to actually limit my learning right now because now I'm happy where we're going and where we're at. So I don't want to get distracted. So I try to just learn from our customers when we get on with them and talk to them or go through their specific challenges or they come to us with a challenge that we try to have the learning be stimulated by the customers more than trying to set the next frontier. I
Mm,
guess that's something that comes with age before, because like when we first started attribution, people didn't understand, like it was like 2015 or something. I'd be like, no, this is the real sales and leads, and people just blown away. How do you do that? Like more like we were way cutting edge. And we're still doing a lot of the same stuff, but now it's more, we're actually getting you to understand and use the data is the real challenge more than inventing some new cool way we're going to track or some new whiz bang report. It's can you just profitably and very quickly get your jobs done, which attribution was never known to be fast. You have to go in, slice and dice all this data, change the models, think a lot. And so we spent the past year making it super fast to get in and out and get the value. And that was, I'm more of a pioneer, and that was more of like a settler type of thing. But I think I got off track from your actual question. Sorry, but that's where I
No,
took.
that's fine. I mean, you what I got from it is just, boundaries kind of
Yes.
define how you learn, and you limit it because otherwise it's just easy to lose focus, right? So that actually answers the question, because the boundaries are very much needed
Mhm.
in in a creative setting and in pretty much all settings, right? Otherwise it's just a blank canvas, great on paper, but it's confusing, right? It can get confusing. So I think that's wise, and it shows, uh, about your productivity and the way that the company is working. So that's great. Um, Scott, I want to thank you for being on the show with us today. As we're wrapping things up, I want to give you the last word. So if someone forgets everything about the interview today, what is the one thing that they should remember about the work you guys are doing?
When you're looking at your marketing, you should be able to distill each campaign down to one word: direction, scale, chill, or kill. And it doesn't have to be with my framework. It can be, I have a framework, the five forces. You can go read about it there, or you can do it your own way. But whatever your methodology is, you should be able to have ultimate clarity down to one word. And if you don't, then you got work to do, unfortunately.
Well, then maybe you can help, right? So if people want to check you guys out and see what you're all about, how can they do that?
So there's three spots. So wickedreports.com if you're in the market for attribution. Fiveforces.com if you're interested in the measurement strategy and framework that you want to learn more about the process. There's a course there. And then I'm on LinkedIn. Wicked Reports Scott should find me pretty easy.
Amazing. Scott, thank you again, sir, for being with us on the show today, and I wish you a wonderful day.
Thanks. Thanks for having me. Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.